Good morning, Brewsters. I'm Mix Bustos, and welcome to the latest episode of Brewed Awakening. The Love Month is fast coming up. We kick off the work week with a discussion on making relationships work with real-life partners, radio and TV host Sam YG and Esa Santos, only here on Brewed Awakening. Good morning once again. This is Mix Bustos, and love is in the air as we count down the days to the love month of February. Now, due to the pandemic, starting or maintaining a relationship has been more challenging. How can lovers steady the ship during these uncertain times? And joining us now this morning is real life couple, TV and radio celebrity Sam YG and marketing maestro Esa Santos. Hi Sam. Hi Esa. Happy New Year. Welcome to
Hi!
Good
Hoy!
Awakening.
Happy New Year!
Mike,
Hello,
Happy
Idol.
New
Good
Year! Happy
morning.
New Year!
Good morning.
Kamusta?
Okay naman,
Medyo
okay naman. Happy New Year.
pinagising mo ako ng medyo maaga today, pero okay yan, ha? And pangalan pa lang, ha? When I got to
Hindi
brief on the
kasi
show, I was really,
may ano naman, may
go ahead.
kickstart coffee naman to kickstart our day. Tsaka syempre to talk about, good vibes lang tayo, positive lang, di ba?
Siyempre, is this your business, the Kickstart Coffee?
No, actually this is kumbaga host tayo dito Sam and
Hmm.
natap tayo dito by the brand to talk about
Hmm.
positivity, to talk about, mga motivation, to talk about mga good vibe stories. Ay syempre
Right,
yung
right.
story ninyo sa amin is yun nga as I mentioned earlier in the spiel, yung 2020 naging challenging talaga yan eh. Alam niyo naman dahil nag-pandemic, alam niyo naman dahil nawalay talaga sa isa't isa yung mga friends, at yung mga magde-date, naging challenging. Kaya ngayon, we want to get it from your perspective on what it was like, what was the year 2020 like for you. So, Sam, maybe I want to get your story. What was it like? How was 2020 for you guys?
Well, Papi Migs, I'm gonna start off with, of course, saying I think for everyone naman, it was very tricky. No? I'm gonna start with myself, of course, before we get to the love department. No, as you know, as hosts, which you also do, a lot of our work involves hosting mass gatherings, which is the first thing na pinagbawal. If you think about
Correct.
it, 'di ba? So parang automatic ang unang tinamaan yung business natin kasi parang bawal mass gatherings. So automatically the events, shows, even from TV shows, even a radio show for that matter, had to be moved for a while. As a matter of fact, I think the hardest lockdown we experienced was from March 15, if I'm not mistaken, no? Till about
June,
eight.
I think, no,
More or less.
almost June. ECQ, di ba, was almost till June.
I think that was the
Yes.
hardest part for both, the work wise and whatnot, because we did not know at that point what was gonna happen next. Everybody was still, I guess I'm not gonna lie, first 2 weeks ng lockdown, that March till about April, okay pa eh, 'di ba? Oh, walang trabaho. Tapos you can wake up
Vacation.
late. Oh, vacation. Tapos you can wake up late kasi alam mong bukas walang gagawin. Alam mo, enjoy. I'm not gonna lie, that for yung
Yes,
first two
sir.
weeks, although it was of course scary, we didn't know what the pandemic was about, what COVID was about. There was that pahinga factor. Na alam mo tomorrow, diba, alam mo wala kang gagawin, sa bahay ka lang. I think the real problem started to kick in for me personally after like 3 weeks when I started realizing, teka lang, wala na akong trabaho ah. Teka lang, hindi ko na alam kailan matatapos tong lockdown na to ah. Teka lang, hindi ko na alam ang difference ng ECQ, GCQ, MECQ, banana Q, tsaka kamote Q. Paps, ang hirap! So, I mean, of course, work-wise, it was very challenging considering our line of work. I'm sure, Migs, you could relate to this, no?
Yeah.
But, of course, I think one thing that is very important, which we're gonna get to later on in the show, is pivoting and resilience when it comes to these times, both in terms of careers and in terms of relationships.
Esa, what
But
was it
update,
like from your
take it away.
perspective?
Oh, well, for me, I guess, I think it goes back also to how you can be stable on your own for a relationship also to work. So definitely with the whole ECQ, not knowing what's gonna happen next, and how long it's gonna take, and of course the anxiety. I actually live alone, so I didn't really have parang someone to calm me down or someone to talk to aside from Sam during those times. So I guess the first few months were a little bit more stressful, actually, not a little bit lang. A lot more stressful, and the anxiety was really high, and not knowing what to expect and everything. But I guess if anything, the relationship kind of helped me stabilize, if I'm making sense. Parang it gave me parang a rock, or something to hold on to. Because aside from everything else, the relationship was a little bit more dependable at that time, given that the government wasn't being very clear, and we were all so confused about what was happening, especially the first few months. So
All
I
right.
guess
So,
that's
Carrie
it.
J, good morning. Carrie J, good morning. Esa, magandang sinabi mo, no? It depends also on how you are as a person, on how you maintain your relationships. But we will get to that later. Sam, I want to get this from your perspective. Tatanungin ko na, love story. What was it like? How did it start
Sige,
and how did it evolve?
i-summarize natin tong love story na to because of course we can talk about it for hours. Okay, para lang matigil na yung chismis, no? Alam ko it's not a chismis show, pero para lang matapos na. She was on a date when the first time I met her.
Oh my God. I can't
Oh,
believe.
mas
Okay.
matapang pa sa kape mo,
Did
papi.
you
Love-
have
Mas
met
Met
matapang.
lang naman
Mas
yun.
matapang.
Nakilala
mas
lang
matapang sa kape mo yung
Nakilala
story.
lang naman. Nakilala lang
Oo,
naman.
nakilala
Sige,
lang.
go ahead. Elaborate.
Yeah.
Elaborate.
Pati ikaw parang, hindi.
Hmm.
She was actually on a date. And ito pa, lagyan pa natin ng konting spice. Baka kulang pa siya yun. She was on a date with a friend.
Oh my God.
Oo. I mean, a
So,
common
oh my
friend.
God.
Yeah, yeah.
Oo.
We met through common friends.
Kaya mo yan.
Ganun
Kaya
na
mo yan.
lang.
Ang
Huwag mo
ganda na ng
masyado.
intro ko eh. Kaya mo yan. Oh.
Okay.
Sige, okay lang.
She was on a date with a common friend at a bar in BGC, and it happened to be my friend's birthday as well. A different person, no?
Sobrang detailed mo naman mag-story.
So I was at the birthday party. We met, and she's a big scuba diver. She's a pro scuba diver, and I also used to dive. So we got to talk. We got to talking about diving, which I haven't done in a while, you know. And sabi ko, since I haven't done it in a while, and this was walang mali siya. Believe it or not, walang mali siya. Sabi ko, oh, next time you're gonna dive, let me know naman, kasi I haven't gone in a while. You know, to brush up your skills and whatnot. Walang landi yun. No? Malinis yun.
Yeah.
Clean. Oh, malinis
Yeah.
yun. Tapos,
Yeah, okay.
I believe you.
yeah, yeah. Eto mukhang to. Hello, mangi-Indian? Hindi, mukhang mangi-Indian ba to?
Hindi mag-i-Indian yung mukhang yan, di ba?
Yan, oo. So, that's what how it started. I got her number, and then ayun, we got to talking after a while, but she she was not with that guy. Nag-ano lang, they were dating, and then we kind of met up again after
Yeah,
after
it
like
was
3
it
months.
was basically a casual thing. We were friends. We were out when we met Sam, and we re-met through another common friend a few months after. So I guess I don't know what was going through your head na then. Then that was when I think he started asking me out, and it was first mga casual invitations na, oh, a friend is spinning at this bar. If you have time, maybe you can check it out. So it was always so, but I didn't know if he was asking me out or he was just promoting this bar, or the friend who's a DJ or whatever. So I didn't take it too seriously. So it took a while before we started like really seeing each other. Parang
Yeah, matagal ito. I actually said the story in another show, but for those who haven't heard about it, I actually got turned down 8 times. I asked her out for
Esa.
8 times. Yes.
Okay.
Talaga kahit drinks lang o dinner, drinks.
Resiliency yan. Yan ang resiliency, pare.
Resiliency.
Yan ang ano.
Consistency.
Consistency.
Consistency, pare. Consistency.
Yes.
So I asked her out. Oh, yeah. It's laging she'd come up with some excuse like, oh, I'm busy tonight. I'm not feeling well.
to be fair, I'd always wait okay, hindi. It actually doesn't sound good. I was going to say I'd always wait an hour before canceling.
Tsaka last minute, alam mo yung parang,
Sorry, wait.
hindi, let's admit it, for guys, if we like someone, kahit na may plano ka, tapos pumayag siyang
Sabi
to
mo
go
yan.
out with you, kakancel mo yung plans mo with the boys na, guys, sorry, can't make it tonight. May bigla something came
That's
up.
true.
Siya yung something that came up. Kahit 1 hour
That's
before,
true.
mag-text siya ng 1 hour before na pwede ako tonight. Paps, I'm gonna cancel all my plans for the night just to make sure na I can, 8 times ko siya invite, tapos that one time,
Aga-aga, yun totoo.
No.
Nabobola ka na.
the 9th time she said, sige, let's get
Okay.
drinks. That was, I think, a Friday night. I came from a hosting gig, canceled my entire night. Sabi ko, bahala kayo dyan, I'm gonna meet up with her. And eto pa, nag-chaperone ng 4.
No, there was
Whoa.
one story pa before that. Yung kami ni Jack.
But that was for
No,
work.
there's just a funny thing wherein I accepted one of his invitations kasi I needed a discount kasi we were planning to get him as a host.
Oh, kita mo ha, narinig mo na. Nakipag-date sa akin para makakuha ng discount sa talent fee ko. Pare, ang sama.
No!
Ang sama. Who does that? Who in their right
okay,
mind
wait
does that?
lang. No. Hindi ako nakipag-date for the discount. Of course, that was not
Okay,
the
just to
intention.
clear the air.
In my head, I just wanted to establish a friendship. Kasi we would,
Hindi, siguro Yeah.
we would get him as a host, ganon.
Hindi, pero ito
Sounds
yung
so
magandang nakwento ni Sam kanina, yung establishing the connection, yung sa diving, yung common interest niyo sa diving. How was that? It may be just a small thing, di ba, Esa? But how did that also be a factor in the long run when you guys were nakaka-develop na kayo? When you said na parang, oh, we have something in common, we have interests that we share with each other.
Well, I feel more than the actual hobby, it's just being able to connect on some sort of level. So it doesn't necessarily have to be a hobby. It can be, even just a perspective or a certain topic that you both have the same, ideas about. So I guess when I first met him, it was a good plus. Like that conversation, however short it was, stayed in my head because there was that connection that we made and it was pleasant and especially these days we meet a lot of people and daming parang even if cute siya pero when you guys first start talking medyo may parang off na or hindi na masyado the first few minutes are crucial to getting that impression. So I guess when we first met, that was a good thing that we hit it off on the very first topic that we because I made him choose between water sports and then he just unanimously chose diving in a minute, which is something that I really love, so that I think really stuck to me.
You think, Sam, yun ba yung pinaka-crucial? That was like an aha moment for you. Uy, this girl likes diving.
Well, of course, initially there really has to be that moment, that spark, diba? Of course, it's aminin natin, when you like someone initially, you see the itsura of the prize. I found her very beautiful, very pretty. The moment I walked in that bar, sabi ko, wow, talagang wow na wow. But going beyond that, I think especially carrying it out to the lockdown, the situation right now, it's really the connection that's gonna pull you through or get
Yun.
you through the next level of any relationship. The physical,
Yun.
I'm not gonna say it's not important. It is important because that's how you first, like a person. That's the first, that's the first impact or the first, how do you say this? Encounter
Sign?
with the person. The encounter, diba? Sabihin natin.
It doesn't actually have to be something right away. I feel just as long as there's that connection that, you guys start talking about something and you just thoroughly enjoy the conversation. I guess that's a really good sign that, in the long run, you guys are compatible in that way. But syempre, that first impression can only carry on for so long. So I guess it was just a good parang pang-push. Ganon.
And then after that,
I
of
think-
course, you get the
Go ahead,
hobbies.
go ahead,
And then you get the hobbies. Then, of course, the ugali starts coming in, which you realize, I think, after a year. Of course, those little quirks, diba? Because aminin natin, when you're starting off in a relationship, even if people say that you're not supposed to put your best foot forward. Aminin natin, as human beings, we do.
Yeah.
Just because of the fact that the person you like a person, you want to be likable instead, o as well, di ba? Meron kang gusto mo magustuhan ka rin ng taong yan. So what you do is that, of course, you do things to be likable. So even if you say na, "Ay, hindi ako naniniwala sa best foot forward," believe me, as human beings, if you like a person, there are things you would do that would that you don't normally do to make that person like you. And that's how things work. Aminin natin. But down the road, like I said, the quirks will come out. You know, the little ugali, how you operate, how you think, how you work, how you are at home, how you clean the banyo.
Especially when you get a little bit comfortable na as the relationship gets longer. So, lalabas at lalabas din. Especially this lockdown, no, we discovered so many things about each other.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so
How
I
has
guess-
the cues? Yeah, how was the Q? Sabi nga ni Sam, ECQ, GCQ, whatever Q it was. How did it, strengthen? What were the
So
challenges
for
that you
the
had to go
record-
through?
For
Yeah.
the record,
Go ahead,
a lot of people pala have this impression that we live together. So we don't live together. I'm in Makati, si Sam is in Ortigas. So there's a bit of distance there, especially with traffic. But during the quarantine, of course, he had to stay at his, and I had to stay in my condo. So there was a lot of uncertainty as to when we would see each other. We tried to make the weekends work, but of course during the ECQ, as you also know, no, wala talagang like bawal lumabas, not unless for essentials. Even condos were making bawal yung kung hindi ka resident,
Visitors.
you can't go inside. So of course the struggle was there. It was really nerve-wracking. But I guess hinay-hinay we started being able to adjust to it. So we were able to make the schedules work. We were able to still see each other despite, the whole quarantine situation or whatever queue it might have been. And then now we spend weekends together, but syempre, it's more of a longer time frame kasi before we'd meet after work. Now he stays over during weekends, so that staying over period, of course we get a taste about how we're like for long periods at home. So like not putting down the toilet seat, so that was actually
Ba't
an
nakaturo
issue.
ka sa akin?
That was an issue. I thought it was something that just happened in movies. I honestly thought that guys would have, the
Pero shoot ko naman eh.
the sense to just put down the
Shoot
toilet
ko
seat.
naman eh.
So there have been times na, alam mo yung, syempre, because I live alone, so I don't think about these things anymore. Uupo ako, tapos literal shoot ako kasi wala pala yung seat, kasi hindi niya binaba. So on the end time, I was like, can you please put the seat down? I don't even know why we're still having this conversation, but just so you know, I don't also check if the seat is down every time. So small things like that, maybe, but to be honest, in terms of big issues, I don't think we have any.
Oh, except syempre yung mga chicks, ganun.
Yeah, yun.
Dapat-
Grabe
Censored-
mag-Instagram this guy.
Censored
This
ba tong
guy.
show na to?
If
Gaano
meron
ka
lang,
censored?
if meron,
Ano naman,
if
wala
meron-
nang profanity. Wala nang profanity.
if merong record for, holding the most hours in a day on that app, Sam would probably be on the top 5.
Hindi kasi influencer tayo.
Grabe,
Maging
Instagram siya ng
influencer.
Instagram. Yung totoo, parang how long?
Kaya maging engaging.
Possibly spend?
Engagement.
Oo, engaging. Kamusta engagement tsaka insights natin?
Whatever. Tapos tingnan mo yung explore. Alam niyo yung explore? Di ba, it'll suggest what you always view.
Ah.
Grabe, puro naka-bikini.
Ito, papakita ko live, oh.
Talaga, parang,
Hindi totoo yan, papakita ko
napapaisip
live.
talaga ako na, oh my God, I can't believe this is my
Natural na
profile now.
nangyayari yun. Natural.
Oh, pare, oh. Isa lang nakabikini dyan, hindi ko pa kilala. Oh, ayan, oh. Puro motor, kotse, oh.
Anong
Pero-
isa lang?
pero-
One.
Pero nakakatuwa naman, Sam, no, and Essa, on how candid you guys are on talking about the relationships. And you're very comfortable. Diba? Pero at the same time, is it natural? Is it effortless? Or what do you think that you guys have? Na, you can be comfortable talking about these things.
Well,
Sam.
I'm gonna take it with that question, no? Because I think coming from my radio show Boys Night Out, which is pretty much raw, diba? Very, we just talk about everything.
Explicit. Charot.
We talk about everything on that show. So, I think eventually nahawa na siya. na parang uh,
Di naman. Ako, personally, I think also I've always been very straightforward.
actually, yeah, that's true. That's
I've
very
never
true.
been the type also to pretend or to just brush things under the rug. I feel like if it needs to be addressed, we should address it. Especially for things like being in a relationship, you guys have to be honest. Communication has to always be there. So with the whole BNO show, definitely that was a lot of adjustment. I think up until now, no, I still adjust to it. I still have to recalibrate every now and then because there are topics that are sensitive to me, and I get also a few feedbacks from the people who
Sabihin mo na!
listen to the
No,
show.
sabihin mo na.
People
Okay.
people actually ask me, "Buti kaya mo, no?"
Yun.
Which kind of gives you also that parang doubt na sobrang sama ba? Kasi I stopped listening just so that, wala nang issue, ganon. Kasi, syempre, if you listen to him on the show, it's not how I know him. So sometimes, there's that whole imbalance na, so sino ka talaga between those personalities? Because I don't know you to be like this or to talk like this. So of course, we had our fights, we had our disagreements and whatnot, and I think it was just, a lot of adjustment and the willingness as well to adjust and understand.
Grabe, willingness to
Really?
adjust.
Excuse me? No, I really did. I was willing to adjust. Pero syempre, may cap yan eh. Alam mo yun, parang hanggang saan ka lang mag-adjust.
No, but I think
Sam.
also, I mean, getting to know pa lang when we were starting out pa lang, it was already tricky because, syempre, BNO is a very, I wouldn't say, it's a pillar show. It's a pillar show. We talk about, whatever, so much stuff on the show. That even the friends of her friends or not, and until now, people will she get random messages na, oh, bakit yan? Wag yan.
Yeah.
Naku, alam bang babaero yan? Puro chicks. So doon pa lang, yung red flags, they were all over the place.
Yeah.
Which I think is one thing I've kind of learned to deal with because it's always been like that. And I think that the show Boys Are Out carries a certain tawag dito, a certain image already
Image.
na the people think na okay, ito yung mga tatlong, sorry for the term, but ito yung mga tatlong gago, 'di ba? Ito yung mga tatlong babaero. So even for somebody to date me, I'm sure she already had her fair share of red flags na, nako, wag yan, ingat ka dyan, delikado yan.
Yeah, people would be asking me, you're dating Samoy G pa.
Oo, good luck. So,
Pero ano nga ba? Ano nga ba, Sam? May difference nga ba? Sabi ni Esa, sino ka ba sa off-cam or off-work to the boys' night out persona?
I think it's hard to also put a finger on that just because of course you don't work with scripts and it's hard to I've been doing Boys Night Out for we're going on 15 years and doing a show, an entertainment show every night for the past 15 years, talking about different topics every night, also has, you have to kind of hype things up. There's a certain art to it. There's a certain hype to it. Kasi, let's say, kunyari lang, I'm drinking coffee. Would you be seriously interested in me telling you a story about drinking coffee? Unlike me telling you, pare, uminom ako ng coffee. Biglang lumabas sa Instagram ko si Ibana Alawi. Oh, natapon yung kape. 'Di ba?
Ayun.
Tapos yung mga ganun. I mean, of course, you have to create these things. So, I think, personally, to answer your question, there is a difference, pero it's really hard to pinpoint as well. Kasi we don't work with scripts or whatnot. But we have to make the show entertaining. So you share parts of your life. A lot of it probably, we put a little palabok to make the story interesting.
It's just an amped up version, I guess, no?
Yun. Oo.
Yeah. Yeah. So at least, ano na yan, kumbaga meron ng konting differentiation, di ba? Pero I mean, at the same time, it's all up to you guys. I mean, depende lang naman yan eh. People are just outside looking in, but at the end of the day, it's all up to you guys on how you can make it work and how, kumbaga, yung willingness to adjust and to understand each other. Ngayon, Sam, 2021 na. Di ba? Ang dami ng storya on how lockdown stories, on how you've adjusted in the lockdown, new normal, next normal, etc. Do you think that you guys, kumbaga, or maybe turned a different page, crossed a different page for the better? What is it like now? What is, how do you see 2021 now for you guys?
Well, definitely, I'd say yes to that question, just because at this point, I think we've learned so much about each other. We've learned, a lot about how we are. being locked down, our ugales, our, what ticks each other off, what irritates each other, how to, and going back to like Boys Night Out, how to make sure that she feels secure despite, what I do on radio, how to even work together. Like now we of course have some things we do, some projects we work on together. So even to that extent, I think it, for us personally, relationship wise, I think it was a plus, honestly. But that's for us as a couple, no. Of course, iba yung work aspect and whatnot. There are so many things we've learned about each other, and we continue to learn about each other. Uh, so yeah, for me, it's really for the couples out there. I think it's really how you take the lockdown, how you actually, your attitude, sorry, towards the situation would determine a lot of things.
Yeah, not discounting, of course, all the people who had such a hard time or still having such a hard time with the lockdown, people who have lost their jobs or their loved ones. But if anything, there were opportunities that this lockdown gave us as a couple in a relationship. Like I feel um, we would never have this much time together if not for the lockdown, and we would never also get the opportunity to learn so many things about each other if not for this whole pandemic. But like I said, it's not to discount, not also to make light of all the hardships and all the struggles that also this pandemic came about. We also experienced that, no, but if anything, we really do want to just focus on the things that it's taught us and the things that we've learned about it. So I guess, yeah, I at this point I think we've crossed the higher humps. Alam mo yun, yung nalaman na namin yung the bigger stuff about each other, like how we are at home when relaxed, how we are when we're stressed, and when pag high anxiety. So I guess there's still a lot of things that we can and we will learn about each other, but so far so good naman.
I'm gonna ask relationship Sam. Sam, what are your keys to a long-lasting relationship?
Kiss lang ng kiss. An-
Yun!
kiss! As in
Keys,
susi!
keys. Susi!
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 Anong klaseng kiss ang pang long term? Siyempre, iba yun. Iba yun.
Waiting na na.
Oo. Ba? May torrid. Yun, ang mga... Hindi. Teka lang. The keys to actually, a lot of people think, no, Migs, that we've been together for a very long time. For those who don't know, we are going on 3 years pa lang.
Yeah.
No, but the
Feels
keys...
so long already. Charot.
grabe.
That's a long time for a lot of people.
Well, that is
That's,
true. That is true, especially
right?
these days. Especially these days.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sabi nga, relationships these days are fleeting, eh, 'di ba? I mean, people just jump from one ship to another. But I think keys to at least for us, what we've learned, and for myself, no, is number one, you really have to get to know your partner, and that takes time. There is no shortcut to doing that. Getting to know your partner takes time. You are gonna go through ups, through downs. There are gonna be times where you guys probably get sick of each other's faces. But at the end of the day, you have to realize that it's not the person you wanna be with. It's that person you can't be without.
Yan.
Drop mic!
Legit yun.
Boom!
Right.
Okay na, end na to.
Totoo
That's it,
yun.
that's it. Totoo yun.
That's it,
Totoo
that's
yun.
it.
Totoo yun.
But
Yeah.
you realize that there are. I actually wrote a letter to her, like when I gave her my Christmas gift, that I honestly would not know how I would have survived, 2020 or that whole pandemic without her. Like she kept my feet on the ground. She kept my brains in check. I'd probably go crazy, and that for me was super solid. Like I said, that was something that 2020 did for me and for us, that just really changed my perspective about relationships and about being with someone. Because I like I said, I couldn't really be with I couldn't imagine what I would be like if she was not there. of course, stress, anxiety, and all that. Number two, this has to do with, like I mentioned earlier, my job. No, I think it's very important to make your partner feel secure. Because there's problems will come, problems will go, situations will come, situations will go. Who would have known we would have a pandemic in this day and age? Now technology is, on an all-time high. We have, a solution to everything, pero ito hindi na, wala tayong solution, 'di ba? Who would have thought that this day would come? And uh, you have to realize that also, despite the problems and the situations, you have to make your partner feel that sense of security that whatever happens, you are going to be there and you guys are going to be together and you guys are going to work through it. I think that's also something that's very, very important.
Yes,
Well, for me, the keys to a lasting relationship would, number one, like I mentioned earlier, would probably be communication. So I feel like we work because we do have that open communication. We're honest with each other, especially um, with the unpleasant truths, the more, the more taxing truths about each other. I also have, my own set of issues, if not, more than the regular amount of issues, and I am honest about it with him. I told him right off the bat, no? I think I told him talaga, sabi ko, nako, ang dami kong trust issues. I'm super accustomed to living alone, and etc. etc. I had a whole list, and one by one, we were able to deal with it, even with his issues as well. It's this continuing openness between us and the willingness also to work through it, as Sam said. So I guess that just being honest with each other, I feel like everybody knows that honesty is the foundation of any working relationship. So I guess that, and also, just the willingness to adjust. Because on my end, admittedly, when the whole relationship first started, I was so hesitant at every freaking point. I was like, ayoko na, ay, hindi ko to kaya, or parang no na lang, ganon. Especially, with him being a public figure, it came with, certain stresses as well that you wouldn't get if you dated, like, say, a corporate person or a private person. So anyway, Sam was also so patient to listen to all these woes that I have, and to also adjust and understand where I'm coming from, which I think is super duper important. Kasi if you go into a relationship thinking na ganito na talaga ako and eto na lang, so you have to either deal with it or let's just call it quits, parang ganon. I think it doesn't ever really work that way. For any relationship to take off or to last, there has to be that whole acceptance na who I am is going to change, if not improve, with this relationship. That's always the goal, not to grow and, to be a better person in the long run, and to not always just think about what you want. Eto, ako. So I guess this relationship has taught me that na I'm not the center of this show, or I'm not the only person I should be thinking about in this relationship. So definitely we meet each other halfway. And I guess the second one would be to find also someone, or to know that whoever you're with or whoever you're in a relationship with is someone that you can laugh with, and that you can, endure harder, more difficult times with. Kasi hirap also these days, no, pag konting problema, bitaw na agad, or you guys, it's also a balance, no, if you think it's worth it, if that person is worth it. But if you do at any point think that this person is worth it, then, even during the harder times when it's uncertain, times when you don't feel like, you're in a secured relationship, if you think it's worth it, still try to hold on, still try to make it work, or do everything that you can to make it work. Kasi, well, like we all know, no, nothing great also ever came easy. So it really does take a lot of work. So I guess going into relationships, that always has to be the mindset, as opposed to thinking na this person is going to give me happiness, this person is going to make me feel the best all the time, ganon, because that's just setting yourself up for disappointment. And last, I think, is also for yourself to never also expect the world from your partner. Like, don't also make your partner the source of every single thing that you think is important in your life. So if, say for example, oh, I expect my partner to be my number one listener, my number one fan, my number one lahat nire-require mo from your partner. That also parang gives such a big strain to the relationship. Make sure that you are stable on your own, and you also have resources to these important things in your life from other factors in your life as well, and not to just like, place it all down onto your relationship and, pressure your partner to, "Oh, you have to give me this, otherwise I feel like you're falling short, or I feel like you're not the partner that that I want," parang ganon. So of course, setting expectations and knowing that your partner should be a big part of your life, but not all of your life, not also the entirety of your life and your world. Kasi then we get so disappointed when it doesn't happen. It's just not possible, no, na every aspect of your life you expect your partner to fill, you expect your partner to provide for. So you should be your own person and have all these other facets in your life down to pat, and to maintain the relationship, para wala ding ganun kalaking strain in the relationship, wala ding ganun kalaking expectations from your partner na for sure you also are not able to fulfill to your partner. So I guess that those are the three things that I think are super important to make a relationship last.
Alright, so ang galing. Ang ganda ng mga talk points, ang ganda ng mga lessons na natutunan natin from Sam and Tessa. Of course, maybe if there's one thing that I picked up, really hardship really makes us stronger. Not only for us in the relationship, but also as individuals. And I hope, para po sa mga nakikinig ng Facebook Live na ito here in Brewed Awakening, is we picked up a thing or two from Sam and Essa. So lastly, Sam and Essa, maybe you want to plug any projects, anything that you have on or coming up, Sam?
Ikaw.
Well, Boys Night Out is still there. You guys know where to catch us. It's on Magic 89.9, Mondays to Thursdays. Our current time slot is 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. It's a special pandemic time slot. But yeah, social media, it's at _SamYG on Instagram. And I also have a new podcast that I started with DJ Chacha. It's called Lecheng Pag-ibig To. Since ito na yung usapan natin, usapang love. We deal with love problems in every episode. That's on Spotify. So just look for Lecheng Pag-ibig To.
All right, so there you have it.
Socials.
Go ahead, Essa. Yeah, okay.
Oh,
So
no,
there you
just
have it.
socials. It's just at Essa Santos.
All right, so there you have it. Samoy G and Essa Santos, and the kettle has whistled once again. We'd like to thank Sam and Essa for spending time with us. We'd also like to thank our partner, Project Ripple. I'm Mix Bustos. We'll see you again next week, only here on Brewed Awakening. Guys, again, Happy New Year.
Mix,
Happy
thank
New
you. Happy New
Year.
Year.
Thank you.